In this video, I'll walk through the steps of installing a bed in my truck using composite material. I use the Timber Tech Azek material primarily for one reason. It's available in 3.5, 5.5, and 7.25 inch widths, which means I can retain the original spacing of the boards. You can see I've taken the old bed out. Actually, it wasn't even a bed, it was just a couple of sheets of plywood. The end panel is completely shot. If you look down at the bottom, it's not even there anymore. There's supposed to be a lip that the wood rests on, and it's completely rusted out. Back panel is bent out. Fortunately, these are available, like a lot of parts for these old trucks. So I ordered a new piece. Whole cost after tax and shipping and everything was about 185 bucks. So a lot easier than trying to repair this piece of garbage.
Here is a new one. You can see nice solid lip there for the wood boards to rest on. We'll have to do a little painting, but this would be a big improvement.
All right, these are the existing angle strips. They're in not the best shape as far as the holes go and some of the edge corrosion, but the part welded to the side looks really sound, welded good, and I think structurally it's going to provide pretty good support. And this is the piece that settles down and sits on top of the edge wood. So what we're going to do is I've got a new steel strip. Rather than remove the old one, I'm going to just place it on top like that. Drill holes on both the side and bottom between the holes, and then spot weld the new piece to the old. Now, of course, when I do that, you can see it's pushed inward by the thickness of the old strip. So to line up the holes right, I'm basically going to notch out or extend the square hole to make it a rectangular hole, and you can do that with this nibbler. Just goes in the hole like that, squeeze, and you just pull out enough so that now it'll line up perfectly. And then I'm going to cover it with a stainless steel, polished stainless steel cover, and that'll look real good. All right, so we're going to use stainless bolts, and as you can see, these cross members are quite deep, so getting the nut on the back side is going to be a little bit of an aggravation, to say the least. Plus, we'd like to basically be able to undo it from the top side, not have to crawl in the truck to replace a board or whatever. So originally we were thinking about using rib nuts, but got a little worried about a round rib nut and a round hole, and if it starts to spin instead of letting loose, then you're really kind of screwed. So I think we're going to use weld nuts, and rather than use a stainless weld nut and then have to weld stainless to steel on the cross members, what I think I'm going to do is use a carbon steel weld nut, oversized so the 5/16 bolt passes right through, and then weld a 5/16 stainless nut to that, so that when I weld the weld nut to the crossbar from up top, it'll just be a steel to steel weld, and pretty easy.
Here you got a carbon steel weld nut. This one is 3/8, and here you can see the 5/16 bolt just passes right through, and lots of room. And then we'll use stainless flange nut on that. Now we got a little collar there, so we'll. In the end, I found that using a bandsaw to cut that tab off was actually the easiest way. Just slide it right through. Here we'll use a regular 5/16 bolt going through the 5/16 stainless nut, protruding in the bottom a little bit, and that'll keep it lined up when we place it in the weld nut, so it'll be just the way we like. We'll clamp that down, keep it steady, and just spot it with the TIG. So here's the plan. We're going to use a 4-inch 5/16 bolt, get the thread started into my little steel weld nut with the stainless steel nut welded on, and then we'll just lift the bolt up until it's flat against the underside. So here you can see I've threaded the weld nut onto the bottom of the long 4-inch bolt, and now I'm just going to draw it up, and you can see the weld bolt through that 3/8 inch hole I drilled, and we'll just spot weld it right in place. Okay, so here you can see the rear sill bracket is actually welded to the frame. Should be just held down by a bolt, and we'll have to cut that weld in order to be able to raise the bed a little bit and set it down on the wood. In addition to cutting those welds, need to free up the bed from the bumper. Got 2 bolts down here and one on the side, and we've got a strap between the frame and the rear of this step where it connects to the rear fender, and then the 2 bolts that hold the step to the bracket attached to the frame. The rear sill bracket is supposed to basically be bolted through that bolt hole in the bottom. There's not a lot of room for a socket, so I've used a flange bolt and cut off the sides so that when you try to remove the nut from underneath, the bolt won't just spin around. The ears will keep the bolt from turning. The other thing is these cross members are supposed to line up perfectly with the holes that hold down the strips that hold down the wood boards. If you go over here, you can see that this one's off by a quarter of an inch, excuse me. So in the end, 4 out of the 5 didn't line up properly. So basically you wound up cutting the cross members loose, grinding it down, and we'll line them up properly, and then weld them back in place where they belong. Actually, with these loose now, I'll be able to take them to the workbench and weld those stainless nuts in on a workbench where it'll be a lot easier. Here you can see I'm using 5/16 inch bolts through the hold down strips to properly line up the crossbars so I can weld them in place. All right, the reinforcement bars are not as deep as the crossbars, and so we should be able to just weld the stainless nuts onto the bottom without having to go through the weld nut routine and pulling them up from the bottom. So there are 2 reinforcement bars and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5
crossbars that are attached to the frame. There's a pretty big span between the two reinforcement bars. So rather than just use bolts and washers as the original configuration, with our composite material that flexes a little more than regular wood, we're going to add this channel iron with 1.5 inch wide but only 1/2 inch legs. Those 1/2 inch legs will give it plenty of rigidity, 1/8 inch thick, and it fits in nicely with a small gap that's available.
Alright, so I don't know if you can see this, but on the bottom there, that's the reinforcement bar that I got, and I welded nuts on the bottom of it. Then to get the holes right on this channel with the 1/2 inch legs I'm using for the third reinforcement bar, I basically drilled a 1/4 inch hole through the nuts that I welded on to the reinforcement bar, and now I'm threading through the hole in the channel, and I've got a stainless flange nut, and I thread through it all the way through the channel and into the nut on the reinforcement bar. So it should line up everything really the way it's supposed to be. Here you can see this one isn't welded yet. This one and this one, they've already been spot welded, and now here we go.
And here you can see we've also welded those flange stainless steel nuts to the bottom of the ledge on the front panel.
All right, here you can see I'm making some shims out of 3/16 in strip steel. Punched, let's see, 3/8 inch holes in for the step supports. We're using either 1/4 inch or 5/16 inch bolts. And then 1/2 inch holes where I'm using 7/16 inch bolts on the rear sill. So I'll just cut these to size, and then we'll have our little shims that'll raise the whole bed up. 3/16 is just about 0.2 inches, which is the difference between standard 3/4 inch lumber and the composite material that I'm using, which is 0.95 inches thick. I didn't want to cut the composite down because it's thicker for a reason. It really needs to be a little thicker to maintain strength. And there we have our shims, ready to go.
You can see the shim in place, raises the bed 3/16 or almost 0.2 inches to make up the difference between the composite and standard 3/4 inch lumber. And here you can see the shim under the step support.
Here my friend Dave and I are cutting grooves in the composite boards using a table router. When you raise the bed, the rear sill and the front panel both come up with the bed. Here we've notched the board so that it fits properly on the sill. Here we've notched the front of the board so it sits properly on the front panel. We're using socket button head stainless steel bolts into our stainless steel weld nuts to fasten the hold down strips. And we're using thread lubricant to prevent galling. The pipe between the muffler and the tailpipe comes up over the axle and gets pretty close to the bottom of the boards. To protect the boards, I've wrapped that section of pipe with exhaust insulating wrap. And here's the finished product. All in all, we used 54 weld nuts on the 5 crossbars and the 1 rear sill, and another 34 flange nuts welded directly to the bottom of the 2 reinforcement bars, the 1 reinforcement channel, and the front panel, for a total of 88 bolts.